This is the Awesome
Never fucking ending.
I feel like you went through puberty while you were singing that song.
Yes, I am. No, I have to. You have to keep the crowd coming, and you can't.
You still don't like podcast.
Dude. I don't even. Okay.
Is that gonna be a new tagline?
Yeah.
You keep the crowd
Keep
coming.
the crowd coming with our new songs, our new hit, our one-hit wonders of the Awesome We're Doing podcast.
It's the same words, just
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah. Maybe I can extend one out to like an actual song like that, 3 minutes. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for walking on over to the Awesome We're Doing podcast.
What if they don't have legs?
Yeah. I don't want to say anything. I was about to say
You're not gonna touch that
I
with
was about to say it's
Pitbull.
a really bad
Pitbull.
joke. I was about to say a joke and it wouldn't have worked out too well. Thank you so much for heading on over to the Awesome We're Doing podcast. I don't know where you are right now, but I'm going to find you. No. You're either on YouTube or whatever. If you want to, if you don't like to go on YouTube, if you don't like looking at people, you can be like listening to them. You know, if you like that, then you can go over to iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. So like I always say, if you like what we have to say, but hate what you have to see, then go over those three: iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play. And if you're on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play, and you don't like to just listen to people, but you like to look at them, then you can head over to YouTube.
Yeah, you do always forget that part.
Yeah. So there's for those people
Yeah,
too.
because those people they're listening, but they're like,
Yeah, but what do they look like?
No.
Yeah, and then they look over here like, oh, look at that really sexy guy in the middle with a black shirt on.
No,
and
they
glasses.
see you and they're like, oh crap, we need to get off. Let me go back and just listen
Look at that,
to me.
look at that guy. So anyways, guys, are y'all ready to hear the fantastic topics we have to talk about today?
Never hear
Hmm,
ready to
you
hear
ready?
anything you have to say.
Alright, so this week we actually saw 2 movies.
Yeah.
We saw 2 movies, and we haven't even recorded a review of this. We got really lazy yesterday.
Yeah.
Zach got really tired, so
Yeah, just blame it on me.
I was ready to go. I'm like, Zach, come on, dude. He's like, no, the fans can wait, Marquez.
I'll take like 70% of the blame. But not
I
all
feel
of
like you didn't fight him. I feel like when he fell asleep, you didn't fight the fact that he was falling asleep.
He was tired. He was so cute just laying there.
As you stared at him all
I
night.
stared at him all night. That's why I was so tired this morning. I was just looking at him. But so we're gonna film both these because we saw a movie yesterday and today, and we went ahead and decided to just film the review for both of them today and have like a convo video up by tomorrow morning.
Which would probably work better anyways, instead of having a review 2
Yeah.
days in a row.
That's true. Yeah, so we're gonna go do that. But the first thing we're gonna talk about is Spider-Man: Far From Home. And I'm pretty sure obviously probably a lot of people have seen this, but we're gonna go and talk about our take on this movie. And let me just drink this water. Hello.
Such a gross sound that you made.
Sorry, I'm drinking water.
That's a weird sensation. My headphone, the left one went out. So I'm
Does
just
it?
hearing from my right. It's really weird.
Right now, that's all that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel
crap.
so good.
I hope it's not broken. It might be broken.
Yeah.
Like that forever. But so anyways, guys, we're gonna go see that movie, and I'll say this. I'll say, we're gonna go over spoilers over everything. Just so you know, this podcast just goes over spoilers, like completely. Like we're not gonna try to beat around the bush with spoilers.
Yeah, because our reviews are usually spoiler free, and plus podcast is a way for us to express our feelings more deeply.
Exactly. So we're gonna do that. But anyways, we saw Spider-Man. Spider-Man, I want to say, was good, but honestly, don't really say that it went any more than that.
I think
Yeah.
they really overhyped this movie.
Yeah, it was pretty disappointing to me. Like I said, I do think it was good, and like you said, like they kept hyping it up to be like this, it's like the ending to the Infinity Saga and like the beginning of the rest of the MCU and all that. And really, it just felt like it felt like an episode, like a TV show. Really, it didn't really feel like that groundbreaking or like the start of something huge for this entire universe or anything.
Yeah, which is really weird because they've been saying so much stuff about it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I will say, there's the mid-credit scene set up stuff for the for Spider-Man story.
Yeah.
But like they were saying like it set up like the MCU story as a whole. And
yeah, because they're saying
that vibe at all.
They're saying like it was going to set up the next phase of the MCU. They also said it was going to be the end of the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
Like they made it. I think Kevin Feige made this big deal about it, but why it's the end of the Infinity Saga. They started talking about that, which really excited me.
Yeah.
But whenever we saw it, it's like it just felt like a movie that was placed in between the two sagas.
It was just like the aftermath, pretty much.
Yeah, and it didn't really like close up anything.
Yeah.
Like Endgame, ended with Tony Stark dying, and the trailers even made it seem like we were gonna close a chapter.
Yeah.
But it never really felt like a chapter was closed. I mean, and they barely mentioned like the other characters besides Tony Stark, except for at the very beginning.
Yeah, yeah. If anything, it felt more like a beginning than an end because it felt like Endgame was the ending of that chapter, and this is the beginning. This is Spider-Man moving on.
Yeah.
So it's like it's more of a beginning than the end. So I
Yeah.
don't know why they decided to lump it in at the end of the Infinity Saga.
Yeah, and some of my main issues, which I will say, there was some things about this movie I loved, absolutely loved, and there was nothing I hated about this movie, but there was just things that I felt like were meh, and so some of my biggest issues with this movie was the humor, and I understand Spider-Man's a comedic character. Even the first one was pretty funny. The first one with the comedy was spot on, but I felt like the comedy in this movie sometimes it didn't hit at all. I never felt like there was a scene where I actually laughed.
Oh yeah.
It's only like a little laugh here and there, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. Where my problem lies is I felt like humor came before everything else in the writing. I felt like it came before the actual story. I felt like it came before logic. They're just it felt like they just wrote a whole bunch of jokes and then wrote the script later on. They're like, okay, we need to make sure to find a place for all these jokes and then write the script around these jokes.
And I felt the storytelling was kind of messy too because obviously Mysterio was gonna be the villain of the movie, but they try to set it up to be like this betrayal of Peter Parker, but I never really felt like connection between the two. They try to set it up that way, but it never felt that way. So when he does betray him, it's like, okay, we saw that coming, and it didn't really feel like that impactful. Yeah,
which I will say, I did like the scenes between Spider-Man and Mysterio. There just wasn't enough of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I loved Jake Gyllenhaal. I love him in everything he plays in. Yeah, and I always will. So I do want to say that
because he does amazing in this.
Yeah,
I also like the twist of Mysterio, how they did Mysterio.
The technology.
Because he's more magical based, right, in the comic books.
Well, not really. He's a director. He's like a failed director who uses illusions.
So it's not, but it's illusions. It's not like.
Where in this they use technology, but they also connected it into other movies.
Yeah,
and it kind of explains his hatred for the Avengers, for Tony Stark.
Yeah, and I like that they brought back the guy from that one scene from the first Iron Man. It's like, Tony Stark built this in a cave.
Oh yeah.
A box of scraps.
I'm not Tony Stark.
It's pretty cool. I guess there's a theme with these Spider-Man villains like Vulture and then Mysterio. It's working class people who got screwed over by Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Now they have to deal with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny how that's a trend now.
And also what I love about the Spider-Man villains is both of them didn't really have an interest in killing Peter Parker.
Yeah.
They had an interest and even in this one, Mysterio didn't have an interest in killing Spider-Man. Well, he knew who Spider-Man was. He didn't have an interest in killing him until later on.
Yeah.
Kind of like how the Vulture didn't want to kill Peter Parker. So that's what I do like about it. And then later on, Mysterio has to kill Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't, but he has to.
In his mind,
And I do like that. I actually really love that sequence, the illusion sequence, the first really big illusion sequence with Spider-Man and Mysterio. And I actually love the reason why, because while I loved it, while it was going on, I was like, why is he doing this instead of just killing Spider-Man outright?
Yeah.
But it's because he's trying to scare him into telling him who else he told
Yeah.
that he knew that Mysterio was a bad guy and setting everything up.
Which that scene kind of leads me to a few negatives.
Yeah.
Because right after that, Spider-Man gets hit by a freaking train
Oh yeah.
and doesn't die.
Yeah.
And I know Spider-Man's stronger and he can live through more hits.
Yeah.
But a train?
Yeah.
You're telling me he got hit by a train? And like, here's my thing. I would have liked for them to do something like, he's like, I would have for him to say something like, thank goodness, like my spider sense like told me this train was coming so I could catch myself first or something like that, you know.
Right.
But it's like it just like hits him head on, you know. And he's a little hurt,
Yeah.
but he just like wakes up and he's kind of good to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then like later
He gets
on,
crushed between like
yeah,
two cars.
yeah, let's
too.
say later on he gets crushed between two cars, and and after that happens, he's just fine.
Yeah, exactly.
He just gets up and goes.
And there's like several times where he falls like from a really big height and like
Yeah.
doesn't catch himself. He like completely falls on like his chest. And
Yeah, and I feel like with those scenes, yeah, obviously maybe not kill him with the train scene. I guess not kill him or something. I do something else, you know. But do at least make him seem really hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the car scene.
He's not like Deadpool or Wolverine.
Yeah,
because he does have like a healing factor, and like you said, he's strong. But like,
yeah,
it does take
He
away
can't
from
die.
it takes away from his stakes.
Yeah, he's weaker than some.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially because they showed in Spider-Man: Homecoming how he was struggling to like get when the building fell on top of him.
Yeah.
And he like had to like dig deep inside
Right.
him to even get those rocks off of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, he's not like extremely strong.
Yeah, and because of that, it kind of takes away stakes from this movie. It kind of takes away the feeling of like, oh, what's Spider-Man gonna do? Is he gonna be okay? Because you're like, this guy can live through like a train being hit by a train.
Yeah.
You know, like what else is there? You know,
Right.
But that was one of my issues, and another big issue that all of us have, and is why have they not brought up Uncle Ben?
Oh yeah, no,
Like, why do they just want to ignore him?
Yeah, no, like they haven't even mentioned him. Like they did show like the briefcase had BFP on it, but like that's just like a really quick nod.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why they haven't mentioned him at all. Cause like I think the changes that they made, cause they made a lot of changes to the Spider-Man character.
Yeah.
Which I haven't minded a lot of the changes, but when you change something like that, it's like you're changing like a fundamental aspect of a character. It's like it's like if you make a Batman movie and you completely change his parents being killed.
It's why he's that.
Motivation. Yeah.
It's why he's there.
Yeah, if you when you change that, you kind of pretty much change the character.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a pretty much different character altogether, fundamentally.
Yeah. And like you said, I think you were saying earlier, they could do both him and Tony Stark. They could do it to where. What were you saying?
Yeah, like Uncle Ben was what motivated him to become Spider-Man, and then Tony Stark could be the one who helped him become Spider-Man.
Yeah, and motivated him more.
Yeah, exactly.
And helped him grow.
And taught him how.
Yeah, help him grow. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like even like in the illusion that he was making, the illusion sequence, like if they would have just said something about Ben.
Yeah, like whenever
the tombstone. Yeah.
Yeah, whenever there's a tombstone and they didn't show the name on it at first, I honestly thought it was gonna be Uncle Ben. But I mean, I didn't mind it being Tony Stark, but I feel like it was a really missed opportunity, especially with Mysterio as a villain. That's like that could have been like a really cool aspect.
What was for me? I didn't think it was gonna be Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
But not because I didn't want it to be, because they didn't really give me any reason to. Because they never talked about it.
Yeah, even if it was Uncle Ben, I feel like they should have at least mentioned it before.
Yeah, because he never talked about Uncle Ben to him.
Right.
And it's like at this point, like, does Uncle Ben even exist in this universe?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, because there was that whole thing of like, what's his name, Happy and Aunt May, which I don't mind that at all. But there was no like, oh, I don't know if I don't want to be with you right now because I just recently lost my husband well, it's not recently, it's like was like what to her it was for her it was like 6 years ago.
Yeah, because she didn't get snapped away.
She did get snapped.
Oh, she did?
Because she's talking at that benefit, and she was like, when I got snapped away.
Oh, did she? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
so for her, it is still recent. It's like maybe like a year or two. Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, so, I mean, there's still that there, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And also, there's the big thing of if he is in this universe, Peter Parker still needs to be dealing with it a little bit.
Right.
Maybe not now.
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little bit now, but especially in like Homecoming, where he's starting to become a hero, like more of a hero to the world.
And that was less than a year after Uncle Ben.
Yeah. And so, if he exists, it's less than a year because what was this? He's been Spider-Man for 6 months in Civil War, right?
Yeah, and then Homecoming takes place 2 months after Civil War.
Yeah, so I mean, that's like really close. Right then in Spider-Man, he's trying to become a hero not just for New York, but like the world. He's trying to become like an Avenger. Yeah. That's a big deal. That's something that he's struggling with because he needs a father figure. Yeah, that's where Tony Stark comes in, right? Right. And I really don't care about like all the things that people hate on Spider-Man Homecoming for. A lot of people say it doesn't feel like a real Spider-Man movie. It doesn't feel like a Spider-Man movie because it doesn't feel like the Spider-Man you're used to in the comics. The Spider-Man you're used to in the comics doesn't make a lot of sense, even though it's a groundbreaking comic book. Yeah, it doesn't make sense because he might look like a grown man in those comic books, but he's 15 years old.
He's like 30.
Yeah, and he looks like he's 30, and he almost kind of acts like it, not completely. Like, they still gave him the teenage stuff, but, like, overall, a teenager who lost his uncle, has no one else, is bullied all the time.
Is poor.
Is poor, isn't going to, like, easily jump out of that and go straight into saving people, Which he might a little bit, but not just that, but, like, I think I've talked about this a lot of times on here before. I was bringing it up again. But the whole thing of it doesn't make any sense that he'd be able to have a nicely detailed costume because he's poor. He was a dumpster diver. So it only makes sense that he was able to have that crappy costume in Civil War, the beginning of Civil War, or in the midway, whenever you first saw him in Civil War. Right. It only makes sense that he had that. Yeah. And then it makes sense that Tony Stark would come over there and he would be able to get the suit for him. And then because of that, it makes sense that Tony Stark would make it high tech, stuff like that. And the high tech also covers some things that were missed in other movies, like him talking without anybody around. It makes more sense in that. Right. And so, like I can understand, like people say that it doesn't feel like a Spider-Man movie, but to me, that movie felt like a Spider-Man movie, just with some kind of trade-offs. Yeah. This movie didn't feel like a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, it really didn't, and it's not like, I mean, a big part of it could have been like it wasn't set in New York. But just overall, Spider-Man wasn't in it that much, to be honest, until like the end.
Yeah. Yeah, because they give him a suit because he doesn't want people to know that Spider-Man's in London because his friends will start figuring it out. Yeah. But so then you give him a whole new suit to not even make him Spider-Man. Yeah. And then nobody on the news is saying, "Oh, it's Spider-Man" or anything.
And he's really not wanting to do anything in the movie, right? Because he's trying not to be seen and he's trying to mainly tell Mary Jane. Which I actually love that aspect when he's trying to tell Mary Jane that he liked her. I love everything about that.
Yeah, which that's one thing I do want to say.
Or not Mary Jane, MJ, sorry. Yeah, but MJ. I mean, whatever. I think her name is like Michelle Jones in the movie.
Which that's one thing, just while we're on that topic. A lot of the side characters that I didn't really necessarily like in Homecoming, I actually liked a lot in this movie, like MJ and Flash Thompson. That's his name, right? Flash. Yeah. Those two characters in particular, I didn't really like them that much in Homecoming, but in this movie, I actually really loved how they did those characters.
Yeah, I know. A lot. I do too. I loved MJ's character, which I didn't hate her. I didn't dislike her character in the first one. There just wasn't much to her. Yeah. But I loved her character in this movie. I loved
her quirkiness.
Is that Zendaya? Sorry, I always say Zendaya. No, I love Zendaya in this movie. This movie actually really showed me how like good of an actress Zendaya can be, because I didn't see like The Greatest Showman or anything else.
To be fair, The Greatest Showman wasn't the greatest thing.
Yeah, wasn't that great movie. I didn't watch Shake It Up from Disney Channel whenever her and Bella Thorne were on it. So I didn't see it for previous acting roles. So unfortunately.
And what was that new show that she was on?
Someone told me about it. I can't remember. It's on HBO, right?
Yeah. Apparently, she completely throws her Disney Channel life out the window. I don't know. I don't know what happens in that episode.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty crazy. I want to watch it. I've heard it's pretty good though. Some of my job told me it's really good.
And also another frustrating thing, which this one isn't really a major complaint for the movie for me, but it's still something that kind of bothered me, was that this is the fifth movie that Spider-Man's been in the MCU. Which I know Infinity War and Endgame don't count that much because he was a really big side character.
I would say Infinity War counts.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Infinity War counts but Endgame. But what I'm trying to say is that like for the first like 2/3 of this movie, they kept making Spider-Man like this kind of like a bumbling fool in fights.
Yeah.
Like he didn't really do much. Like especially like the first one that he has when the water creature is like attacking the city and he's like trying to save the bell tower and he keeps like hitting his head.
Oh,
on
yeah.
it. It's like okay, it's been in several movies. I know they're trying to keep this whole thing up of he's not like used to being like a superhero.
Yeah.
But I feel like they could have at least had him do more heroic things.
Yeah, and that's
along
what.
the way.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying a while ago. It feels like they're more concerned about jokes
Yeah.
than anything. They're more concerned about the comedy than anything.
And
Right.
you know, you said something about setting, and I think that's a big issue because I feel like we had him in space,
Yeah.
but we haven't had a Spider-Man movie that's really in New York,
Yeah,
except
me
for
too.
Homecoming.
Yeah. And that was like in Queens. That wasn't really the main New York.
Which
Yeah.
I didn't mind that. I thought it was an interesting idea. I felt like
I
it could have
think-
been pulled off.
My thing is
Yeah.
the reason why it should be in New York is because we haven't really had one in New York, and I feel like Spider-Man, like that's who he is. He's saving the little guy. So when he was arguing with Nick Fury, like, oh, I just want to be the neighborhood-friendly Spider-Man. Well, you're not really fighting in your neighborhood. Like you're fighting in another country. You can't be just the neighborhood Spider-Man. Like you can make that argument in your home because that's where you live. You want to help the little guy. But when you're away from home and it's a pretty big deal, you can't keep saying, "Oh, I just want." I don't know.
Well, to me, I feel like whenever they did it, they didn't do it properly, so it was an issue. But I felt like the concept of him being in another place that wasn't New York wasn't an issue. I felt like they could have pulled it off easily and been fine, but I felt like the way they did it kind of messed with it a little bit. I didn't have a problem with that because it was an interesting idea. It was something we haven't seen yet. It was something we haven't seen yet.
I understand he wants to be a regular boy, but after everything that he went through in Endgame, Infinity War and Endgame, you think that he kind of knows the stakes at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I can get him kind of like struggling at the beginning, like, I want to be with my friends, all that. But then when you fight like the fire monster and stuff, and you're still like, oh, I just want to go back home.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, dude, you know what's at stake. You've seen it with Endgame, what could happen.
Right.
Yeah.
You kind of need to step up a little bit more.
That makes sense. But I also
Yeah, that I agree with. I just don't see it. I don't have like a big problem with him not being in New York in the movie.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is things where it's like, I feel like you've already learned this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like these are a few character arcs that have already been established. That have already been solved in other movies. But
right. I was watching what's that channel? That guy's name, Penguin Zero or whatever.
Yeah.
I was watching his review, and he actually does bring up a good point. It's kind of a nitpick, but like when all these disasters are happening, wherever Peter and his classmates are going, you'd think at some point they would cancel the trip.
Oh yeah.
And like their parents would want their kids to come home.
Well, they did at one point.
Did they?
Yeah, that's why they got to London in the first place. So they went to Prague, and they were the water monster in Italy. The water monster. Then they went to Prague. The fire monster happens, and then they were supposed to leave that night.
Oh, okay.
Because remember, that's why Peter Parker gets MJ to go to the bridge. Because he's like, I know this is our last day, because they were all going to go home.
Oh, fair enough.
But then on their way home, that's when they got sent to London because of Mysterio.
Oh,
that's true. That's true.
I did like how they had Mysterio wear the mocap.
Oh yeah.
It's like that actual movie actors wear for like especially for Marvel movies.
Yeah, like I loved a lot of stuff. I loved all the Mysterio aspects.
Yeah.
I loved all that. Everything about Mysterio.
Once he's revealed to be a villain, I actually loved pretty much all of that aspect of the Mysterio.
Yeah, and I loved most of the Mysterio stuff. I loved the whole thing. I loved every scene that had Mysterio and Spider-Man talking. Because it seemed like it was a good way of kind of getting Spider-Man on your side.
Right.
But I felt like that would have done more. And kind of taken out some of the unneeded stuff.
They should have done more like connection thing because they only had one big talk. And then the second big talk, he hands over Tony Stark's like gift that he had given to Spider-Man. It was like, this is only your second big talk, and you're handing over the biggest thing, saying you can be the leader now. It's like, wait, what? You really know this person, and you've only fought really one battle with him.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. There are a few things about that. And so I mean, overall, I liked the movie. I thought it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I just found it disappointing.
It's one of those movies where I can see myself watching over and over again.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I'm already gonna see it 2 more times.
Yeah,
this week.
Yeah,
it's like in the middle of MCU.
Yeah, I would put
it's a little bit higher.
Yeah, I put a little bit above middle, but not much. Maybe I don't know. I have to do a whole ranking because there's a whole bunch of them.
It's kind of hard to think of. But I do want to bring up that J.K. Simmons being back as J. Jonah Jameson was freaking awesome. Even though I kind of already knew that was gonna happen.
I know this is it's not really a big deal. I wish he looked like J. Jonah Jameson. Because he was bald with a mustache.
Yeah. I wish they would have given him the flat top and everything, but I guess we can't really be
Another thing I want to say is it feels like they got a little inspiration from the PS4 game.
Oh yeah.
Just a few, like 2 things. That number one, the thing about Aunt May's like talking at that homeless shelter.
Yeah.
You know, she works at that homeless shelter.
Yeah, in the game she worked at.
And then J. Jonah Jameson reminds me a lot like he did in the game, like Alex Jones.
Yeah. So. And like more of like a radio broadcaster than a news, which makes sense because I mean newspapers.
Yeah, it makes sense. But also the way he was talking and stuff like that, it reminds me a lot of it.
Like conspiracy theories.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not saying for sure they got it, but it just seems like they got a tiny bit of inspiration from it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. I looked at you because you were like, I was gonna say something.
I don't know. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, sorry. But if you haven't seen it and you didn't care, you know, and you just kept watching, you know, go check it out. It's not bad.
Yeah, somebody asked me today, is it even worth going to see in the movie theater? And yeah, it is. Like I feel like you still need to see it on the big screen. The fights are still really good. The special effects. It's just that, you know, like, if you're expecting the hype that they hyped it up, you're going to be disappointed, like we were.
Yeah, it's definitely not a movie that feels... It's not a movie that it feels like it has a place in between sagas.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like it's in a saga.
Yeah.
It feels like it's literally in between 2 sagas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it doesn't feel like it's at the end or the beginning of one. You know, and so that is a big issue that I have with it.
Yeah.
You know, especially just where it was, what it was supposed to be, what we kept telling us it was going to be, you know. And that was a little issue that I had with it. But like I loved a lot of stuff in this movie, so I mean I definitely did like it. I probably will try to see it again. I don't see a lot of movies twice in theaters, unfortunately, because I don't really have a lot of time.
I see movies a lot in theaters.
I don't have a lot of time.
Especially Spider-Man movies, I see them over and over again in theaters.
I wish I
already have a plan to see it 2 more times.
I wish I had the time for it. I don't have the time for it. And then guys, the other movie we saw today was Ari Aster's new movie. Midsummer.
Is it Ari Aster or Ari Aster?
I don't know.
Because I feel like it's funnier to say Ari Aster.
It definitely is funny to say Ari Aster.
I've heard people pronounce it Ari Aster.
Yeah,
that's less funny. That's significant.
I hope it's Ari Aster.
Anyway, this movie.
I don't know how to talk about this movie. Almost at all. I barely even know how to talk about it when it comes to spoilers.
Because I mean,
it's one of those movies where I feel like it's better like after you do research and you see it a second time.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff there, and I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's like not philosophical but symbolic. There's a lot of meaning to it. I just don't really. There's a lot of weird things that happen that.
I do know I left the movie theater feeling gross.
Yeah.
Like. So the witch gave me like a really disgusting feeling, like I needed to go take a shower. This movie just made me feel gross.
Yeah.
It was just I didn't, like you said, like I don't get the symbolic yet. I still need to do more research. But I don't know. There's something unsettling the whole movie.
Yeah, the movie is decently unsettling, but it's also a movie I can completely understand if someone does not like.
Yeah, it's really slow.
It's really slow. Like, it almost feels like... And that actually is an issue. And don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with slow movies at all. Yeah. Just as long as the slowness feels like it's building up to something and does build up to something.
Like Hereditary, people complain that it was slow, but I mean, it was one of our favorite movies.
I didn't feel like Hereditary was slow at all.
Yeah.
If you think Hereditary is slow, and then definitely if you think The Witch is slow, you're not gonna like this.
Yeah, don't see Midsummer. Because in Midsummer, it almost feels like nothing is happening.
Yeah.
But like it's really slow, then something happens, then it just jumps down, gets really slow, something happens, and then jumps down, gets really slow, like over and over, like a few times. But
Yeah,
Overall.
there's a lot of sections where it's like that. I will say the things that happened were like some of the like most disturbing things I've seen in a while in the movie.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, like you said, then it'd go back into this state of like really slowness, like
Yeah.
where nothing's really happening.
Yeah. So and that is a big issue I have with this movie because in that it never feels like the slowness is building to something.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's slow and then something happens. You know, and so that's a huge issue I have with this movie. I will say I like this movie. From first viewing, I want to say that I was a tad disappointed in it. I was expecting a little more. I don't have a problem with symbolism. You know, I just feel like with a movie like this, it needs to be more. And it is a movie that does disturb you a little bit. I just don't think it was like anywhere near Hereditary.
Yeah, you can tell the actor did do his research though.
Yeah.
On like Scandinavian culture, like kind of pagan rituals, stuff like that. So you can tell he put a lot of work into it, and the camera angles are really good.
Yeah, it's a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful
The acting's really good too. The main actress, I don't know what her name is, but she did
these
fantastic.
people names. Was it the guy who looks like Chris Pratt and
Will Poulter.
the guy,
Looks
Will
like
Poulter.
Sid.
Will Poulter. His character is actually I like this character because
Yeah.
it was like a comedic character, but it didn't feel like comedic relief.
Yeah.
It
It
just
felt
felt
like-
like a character that kind of is like
Yeah,
like funny.
it felt like if these friends went to the middle of the woods with their what was he, Scottish?
Yeah,
What?
Sweden.
Swedish.
With their Swedish friend, and they're like witnessing all these weird people.
Yeah, and that's one thing I do want to say that a lot of it felt really realistic. A lot of the relationships between people, especially between the main guy and the main girl, their relationship. It was like a strained relationship throughout the movie, but it didn't really feel like over the top.
Yeah.
It felt really natural and realistic.
Yeah.
Their,
Like
strain.
I said earlier to y'all, that it felt like a relationship of one person falling out of love with someone, but that person goes through a really traumatic experience, and then you stay with them because you feel obligated, because they've gone through so much already.
This movie starts with a bang, though. I will say that.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
man.
beginning is just it's like one of the most unsettling beginnings to the movie.
Yeah, and Ari Aster's with all the camera work, I love the way this movie looks.
Yeah, the camera work, the music,
The lighting.
Yeah.
And I do gotta say though, whenever it comes to Ari Aster, his movies are just so respectable, and they're good too. They're not just respectable. But this movie right here, considering I didn't like it near as much as Hereditary, I want to say that I respected it because it seems like he's a kind of director that likes to challenge himself.
Oh yeah.
Like he wants to make a movie kind of disturbing, but when it's light, when it's like just completely light outside.
Yeah, and then most of this movie takes place in like broad daylight, and even like more than just broad daylight.
Yeah,
and like even the night scenes aren't like pitch black like a lot of horror movies.
Yeah.
They'll make their night scenes like almost pitch black with just a little bit of light.
Yeah.
Like even his night scenes still have a lot of light because it's set in this world where there's not really that much night.
Yeah.
So even when it's night, you still have that like where it's kind of light outside. Still.
Yeah, because it was a summer solstice, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So it does that. So yeah, I mean, I did like this. I did like this movie. A second viewing is gonna be a little difficult, though. I will say that this movie was hard to kind of get through in one viewing.
It's like 2.5 hours, and it's like really slow pace.
Yeah, it's really. It's one of the slowest movies I've seen in some time.
I read a comment that was like that they really liked the movie, but it felt like it could be cut down.
It definitely could.
And I really feel like if they would have cut it down, I feel like more people would have liked it.
Yeah, it also would have been more disturbing because I feel like this movie was a little disturbing, but it's not something that's gonna stick with me that much.
I feel like it's gonna stick with me a lot, but I feel like they gave too many breaks.
Yeah.
For you to like settle down again.
Yeah.
Like Hereditary, right?
That movie sticks with me.
Yeah, you had the family drama aspect that really like drove the first half of the movie, but when the horror kicks in, it doesn't let you breathe for 1 second because like he did really good with Hereditary where something would be in the background and he would just hold it for longer than most horror movies do. And it wasn't like it would jump because that's what you expect now in horror movies. Something's in the background, it takes a little while, it jumps out.
Yeah.
He would hold it in the background, keep it, and then it would just kind of move out of the background. It would never like jump out at you.
Yeah. Right.
And not just the ending of Hereditary, the whole movie just had this disturbing feel to it. Even like Hereditary, a lot of people said it was slow, and and honestly, Hereditary is a movie that I get offended by when people don't like it, because I feel like it was mismarketed, and people went there for just a complete all-out horror movie.
Yeah.
Whenever what it was, and what makes me mad is if you went to a drama, you wouldn't say it's slow. Right? And so why go to Hereditary and say it's slow because it's more dramatic?
Right.
I mean, it's slow compared to like a horror, like a modern horror movie.
Yeah.
But like it was more of like a dramatic movie with just like little elements of horror sprinkled in.
It was kind of like The Shining.
Yeah, it just had like The Shining, and it just had like this really disturbing feel to it.
Most people that say first off they say that it wasn't scary, which I get it. Horror's objective to people. I can get that. But then they always complain about the ending. Ending was stupid. That end scene was so unsettling.
I love the end scene of that movie.
It is one of...
I thought you said instinct for it.
I love end scene.
When his mom has no head and there's no music and she is going up that treehouse, that is the creepiest scene.
I love the music in the end of that movie. Like I literally listen to that music sometimes. It's so creepy, but it's like a beautiful song.
Yeah.
And it's like a song of like what like successfulness and stuff like that. It's so like, but it's just like, but you listen to it and it just feels so like joyful and stuff. But then there's this little sound in the song that just makes it sound so creepy.
Yeah.
You know, and that feeling of joyfulness and creepiness mixed into one song, it was just so genius and perfectly put together that it just gives you this disturbing feeling. Especially the end of the movie, how it ends. There's like a whole like two head, her mom, his mom and his grandma are headless right in front of him. Yeah. So it's like a fantastic ending. I love the movie.
But this movie, Midsummer, kind of has a scene like that where with like a cabin full of like bodies full of like grass and all that.
Oh yeah.
And there's one with that person with like a tree sticking out of their mouth, tree branches sticking out of their mouth.
And I do want to say this. There's this one scene that I felt like could have been kind of really short. There's a cool little sex scene in this movie that went a little long.
I'm just saying, if you are not okay with full-on nudity
and
from man and woman,
of any type of body.
Yeah, seeing a penis flop around while a guy runs like full on. They didn't try to hide it or anything.
Yeah. And that's another thing. I think Ari Aster just does it, and that's another thing I love about Ari Aster.
He's just like fucking
does it, you know, and so that's what I love about Ari Aster.
We're gonna say
and so this the scene in the movie. It's like he walks into this room because this one girl has been wanting to have sex with him throughout the movie. She doesn't ever explicitly say it, but it's talked about.
Yeah.
And so he walks in the room, and there's maybe like 7 or 8 just naked women right there, of all shapes and sizes, just like completely naked, and she's laying on like a bed of flowers naked.
Yeah.
And then he starts like having sex with her, and this woman runs behind him. And grabs his butt and starts pushing him in.
And what's even more disturbing is all these women are all moaning in sync together.
Yeah. Which that I found really disturbing. I like the moaning part. I found that really unnerving.
Yeah.
But one thing, I don't know if you want to say anything more about that, but one thing I do want to say is that the one theory that we heard about the one Swedish friend. People are theorizing that he was probably the one that killed the main girl's sister and parents. Yeah. To try to sort of ignite her decision into coming on this trip.
Yeah, because it's listed also next to the mom's head is like a bouquet of flowers or something.
Yeah, which the main girl wears at the end of the movie. So it's a pretty interesting theory. Yeah. I think it's a pretty valid one. I think it actually could be.
Yeah. We kind of like. Well, I told y'all that. When I first saw it, I honestly thought that maybe she was murdered. Just how they like set up the frame. Yeah, I mean, first they showed the parents, and then when they're zooming in on the sister, it was kind of weird how, because she what she does is she like hooks up this long tube up to the car exhaust, and then she has it duct taped around her mouth. Yeah. And I feel like if you're gonna try to kill yourself that way, one, you brought up that she's either gonna lock herself in the car. Yeah. But I said, why is she duct taping it? Because obviously, if she wants to kill herself, she's gonna hold it to her mouth.
Yeah, why are her parents dead?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So I mean, she could have killed them, or maybe like some of the exhaust leaked out. But you know, I mean, it's just a lot of stuff. It's pretty. It's a lot of stuff. Like I really do think there's a lot more to say about this movie than I could possibly say right now.
Yeah, just after one viewing.
Yeah. So and it's kind of like Hereditary. Hereditary. After the first watch, I'm like, what was going on?
Yeah.
You know, like I understood some of it, most of it, but it's like other things. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And I've watched that movie a lot of times now, and after a while, I think I've got a decent grasp on it.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, Hereditary was just pretty much.
And the first time I watched Hereditary, that big scene where her head's knocked off, the theater that we were in, the lights all came on because they had a technical issue.
You know what I noticed?
Tickets for
you know what I've noticed is there's a scene in that in Midsummer that reminded me of kind of the shot of the girl whenever she gets her head knocked off in the Hereditary, they kind of show her head.
Yeah.
In this movie, whenever they bash that dude's head in, they like have like an angle that reminds me of that.
Yeah.
Hey, can we just talk about how disgusting the gore was in this
movie?
movie?
I know. There were some disgusting things.
Remember when that girl dropped down on that rock and you just see her face explode?
Yes. I was not expecting that. I thought it was just gonna fall.
When the dude falls and he like falls on his legs and his legs like
he's still like alive.
Yeah, one of his legs crack off and he's like still alive, moaning.
Yeah, and they bash his face in.
And
they just keep they just keep showing them bashing his face.
Exactly.
And then one of the kids that was in
Wolf
the
Walter.
Yeah, that was in the group of no, I'm talking about the group of friends.
Okay.
And they had like that. Like his back like opened up, and he's still like you can see his lungs still breathing, so he's still alive.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the scene I'm talking about was Will Poulter. Well, when one of the kids gets killed and gets hit in the head, and then like the camera like zooms up and it's showing who killed him, and it's like somebody wearing Will Poulter's face, like a mask, and you can hear the guy dying like moaning, and it's like it's being played like really loud.
Yeah,
that part was really disturbing.
Yeah, it was.
It was probably one of the most disturbing things in the movie.
And this movie, I do like. I do think it could have been a pretty decent amount better.
If you like more artsy horror type movies, then you'll like this. You'll like maybe you can get more of the references than we could. But it's I feel like I can see a lot of people complaining about this movie.
Yeah, this is a movie I can definitely understand people not liking a lot more of Hereditary.
I'll say if you like Hereditary, you might like this movie, but if you like The Witch, I think you'll definitely like this one. Because this movie was more on the lines of The Witch than Hereditary, because The Witch was really slow.
Yeah.
It was one movie there's another movie where I can understand where people say it's too slow.
Yeah.
I do feel like there was a build up in that movie.
Yeah.
A better build up.
There are only two movies that if you say that you're a horror fan, that if you don't like, you lost all credibility, and it's Hereditary and It Follows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, Hereditary is like honestly like there's some scenes to me that are just like the definition of horror. Almost, you know. So the next thing we need to talk about is last week there was an in-game release, the in-game re-release.
Oh yeah.
And people have not talked. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, neither have I.
A lot of people haven't talked good about it. I've heard about it. And here's my question: was it extra money? Were the tickets extra, or were they the same price?
I think it was the same price.
If it's the same price, I mean, I don't really. Okay, I would have still seen it because I still want to see the movie again. You know, and at least they're giving you something extra. But what they gave us was actually decently stupid.
Yeah, it really was. Like they advertised like 6 more minutes of footage and all
I thought it was gonna be like 6 more minutes of actual stories, like they're gonna add it in the actual movie.
Exactly, yeah. But it turned out just to be at the beginning, one of the Russo brothers has like some message like introducing the movie, which is kind of weird because you're obviously gonna know that you're at the movie. Then there was a Stan Lee tribute, I think.
Which we talked about it when in-game came out. I feel like that should have been the end credit scene. Yeah, just because it was the last movie that Stan Lee made his cameo.
Yeah, that's another sad thing about Far From Home is it's the first MCU movie.
Yeah, and I feel like it would have been a nice kind of ending, wrap up to this 22 saga movie thing. So, But I mean, I get it at the same time that they didn't have something at the end.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. Then the third and last thing they added was some like unfinished Hulk deleted scene. But like I've seen pictures of it, and honestly, Hulk looks like a PS2 character.
Yeah, it's like
not
unfinished.
finished at all.
It's like unfinished.
Yeah, it's not finished like at all.
Yeah. I think I've seen I've seen pictures of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw like a picture of it
And-
yesterday. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and my thing is like I don't know why they didn't add the Catherine Langford scene after
Yeah.
Tony snaps, the scene that they deleted. I feel like that's like if they're gonna add any footage, I
Yeah.
feel like that's the one scene they should have added,
Exactly.
especially since it's such a big scene and like it's one thing that they talked
And
about a lot.
they filmed it and everything, like, and
Yeah,
they took it out at the like one of the cuts when they were making cuts because
Yeah.
they felt like the audience or
Yeah,
What,
I actually
no,
think
it's
they
been
actually
seen.
tested
It's
it,
been
yeah.
seen by
Yeah.
and
audiences.
it confused some people,
Yeah,
so they
test
decided
audiences.
to just take it out. So it would have been cool now that we know.
Yeah, so it's completely finished.
Yeah.
It's a finished scene.
yeah, and it would have been cool to have seen on the big screen.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know why people. I hope it's on the Blu-ray.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
me too.
I hope they do that. I think it's terrible. It's so horrible to be like, oh sweet, I'm being
I know,
Endgame.
and be that big of a part.
Yeah, and it's no, never mind.
Yeah.
Screw you. I don't get it. Yeah, that would be so terrible. I would hate that so much. I don't know, but I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if I will. To be honest, I actually do want to see it again. I just don't know if I have time.
Was it just for the weekend or?
Is it?
Or was it? Is it?
No, it was out
now?
yesterday.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then.
It was out yesterday, so I think it's been out for a little bit. I would like to see it in IMAX. I haven't gotten a chance to see it in
Yeah.
IMAX yet.
Yeah, same. They're what, like still like 15 million away from
Yeah,
Avatar.
yeah, they're not gonna beat it, unfortunately. Probably not.
Most likely, unless they keep it in for a couple
Yeah.
months. But even then, it's gonna be
Yeah.
a stretch.
Yeah, which Avatar was out for a long time,
Yeah,
and
like
it
8
had
months.
it also had 2 releases.
Yeah.
So I mean, another thing we got to get to over here is something was announced that Little Mermaid was cast. I can't even remember the girl's name.
Halle,
What's her name?
it looks like Halle Berry, but it's not.
That's not who it is.
It's Halle
What?
Bailey, I think.
Little-
Yeah, Halle Berry. Literally, when I first read it, I thought it was Halle Berry.
Little Oh my goodness, I cannot spell this.
Can you imagine?
Oh, it's
Halle
just
Berry
a
as
1989
Little Mermaid?
film.
Oh my God.
Okay.
We're gonna be here the rest of the podcast looking it up.
Yeah, Halle Bailey. Maybe it's Haley Bailey. I don't know. It's one of those two. I don't even know who this girl is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think I read that she is in Grownish, and that's about all
Okay.
she's like for acting. That's
Yeah, and a lot of people are not too happy about a black girl getting casted as Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
which
I don't really care.
my thing was I don't care that it's I don't know her, so
Yeah.
I mean she might be a really good actor. I just thought it was gonna be Zendaya.
Oh yeah, no.
Zendaya, whatever
Yeah,
it is.
I've seen like edits of Zendaya as Little Mermaid and all that. She
Yeah,
looks
and
pretty
she even
perfect.
and like in pictures for Far From Home, she had red hair. So I really thought she was gonna be it. And then when they announced it today, that's what my disappointment came from because I wanted it to be Zendaya,
Yeah.
but then it wasn't. And
Yeah.
so
I don't know.
Yeah.
But then again, like I don't know much about this girl, so maybe she'll do good. Hopefully she
Yeah.
does.
so but I don't know why people
Yeah.
are so
Yeah, the only complaints I have about recast about like that is like it's never like they never cast like other races as white characters. It's always like white and black.
yeah.
But they never cast like a Mexican or Asian
Mhm.
character. It's always that's not like my only complaint. It's not like I'm complaining about it. It's just probably gonna be good.
Yeah.
But that's my only,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
I
my
would-
2 cents on it.
Yeah. I can understand that.
Especially because we don't have do we even is there even a Mexican princess?
No. I mean, there's
No.
Coco, but he's not a princess.
Yeah.
Yeah, this Coco. Sorry, no, I
Yeah.
don't really think there is. I don't think there is.
Because we have Mulan, but for
Yeah.
Asian, but we don't really have a Mexican princess, so.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, hopefully.
Especially at a time like this, I feel like Disney of all companies would want to hire more Hispanic actors
Yeah.
with the way the immigration thing is going on and all
Yeah,
that.
hopefully there is some Hispanic
Yeah.
princesses. The next thing I do want to talk about is
Your favorite person?
Cosmic News. I was on there the other day, and I started noticing like he's been posting a lot of stuff. Cosmic News, Matt McGloin has been posting a lot of stuff that I don't really like that much.
You
Number
sure?
one, here's one that I kind of understand making an article about because it is a little stupid to do this. I guess Marvel changed Thor's hammer description to gender neutral.
I didn't even know he had a gender.
Yeah, no, I never knew they described him with a gender.
Yeah, I know.
I just did. I never knew they described it with a gender.
Yeah. So I guess Mjolnir is now gender neutral. But here's something I've noticed. If anybody follows Cosmic News, he's gotten this nice little trend where anytime something has bad news or what he perceives as bad news to a movie, he always puts R.I.P. this. Like R.I.P. Thor, and then he'll do like Marvel, R.I.P. Marvel, R.I.P. Spider-Man, R.I.P. Little Mermaid.
Right.
Like he does it all the time.
Yeah.
And like that's how you know that's the signs of a bad writer right there. I can't think of anything else. Yeah. And also, he put up this saying, Avengers Endgame re-release is hugely disappointing. Disney and Marvel looking for a quick cash grab might want to skip this altogether. Not good. And here's my thing. Yeah, okay, we just talked about it. It's kind of stupid. But I bet you if this was like Justice League and they did the same thing, he'd probably be fine with it. Also, when it comes to these movies, I'm just kind of, it's like at least they're giving you something extra. Even though it's stupid, you're not paying extra for the movie. Yeah. You're just paying for it. Yeah. I saw someone comment the other day, they're like, I already paid for it a while ago. Do I have to pay for another movie ticket? And like someone literally commented, I was like, yeah, you gotta pay for another ticket.
We mentioned that Avatar got re-released, but did they even add anything when they re-released
I think they might have. I think they did. I never even saw the original Avatar, so I wouldn't even know.
Yeah. One thing, I can't find it, but there's like some of his captions he puts honestly remind me of Donald Trump's tweets, which he's a big Trump supporter. But his captions on here, like there's one that you sent us recently that like it's like, was that Donald Trump that typed that?
Here's something funny though. It says X-Men Dark Phoenix concept art reveals Captain Marvel ending, and he puts Disney caught red-handed original ending to Dark Phoenix revealed through concept art. So he's also in that thing, that whole conspiracy that Disney purposefully completely, what's the word? They sabotaged Fox with X-Men.
Right.
Yeah, which I don't think they did.
Yeah.
I don't think they did. I'm pretty sure that Captain Marvel has been playing out.
It'd be one thing if Fox was on the fence of selling to Disney, but when Dark Phoenix, when they were doing the reshoots, they knew that they were going to Disney. Disney knew that they were going to get Fox. Why would they have any intentions on sabotaging them? They already had them.
Yeah. Which talking about Captain Marvel, I do want to, it's kind of off topic, but I do want to talk about that end credit scene of Far From Home with the Skrulls.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
It's kind of confusing. Obviously Nick Fury was a Skrull in Far From Home, but it's like when did he become a Skrull? Which I guess it's an interesting thing.
It was in Age of Ultron. Because, and I've told y'all before, because in Captain Marvel, she was like, how do I know that it's you, right? So tell me something that only you would know, right? To prove that you're not a Skrull. And he said that he doesn't trust sandwiches that are cut diagonally. Mm-hmm. But in Age of Ultron, I forget whose house they're at. Are they at Hawkeye's house?
Yeah, Hawkeye's.
They're at Hawkeye's house, and he makes a sandwich, and he cuts it diagonally.
When was Winter Soldier put out?
2014. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think maybe it would line up with your theory that happened maybe after the Winter Soldier, after the hit was put out on him.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, oh, I probably should go into hiding or whatever.
Or maybe he was more injured than we thought. Yeah. And so he was taken out, and then Talos replaced him.
Yeah.
And then
because after the Winter Soldier, he doesn't really do much in the movies. Yeah. Like any of the movies except for now from Far From Home. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And then another thing I want to say, I've noticed that he's also been double posting, but whenever he does another post, he puts a new caption. So if that not Captain Marvel, for that Thor one, the first one didn't have a caption, there was bruh, R.I.P. Thor. Then for the re-release of Avengers Endgame, he put Disney Marvel looking for a quick cash grab, might want to skip this altogether, not good. Then he posted it again, he put anybody see it, is it that bad? Then with the X-Men Dark Phoenix, he put Disney caught red-handed, original ending of Dark Phoenix revealed through concept art. Then he posted it again. He said, did Marvel rip off Dark Phoenix for Captain Marvel? You know?
Yeah.
And then here's another one. He puts, Avengers Endgame probably won't be Avatar box office. And he says, who wants to see a cruddy deleted scene, Goofy Hulk, Fat and Goofy Thor, Captain Marvel, and Girl Power Avengers again? Not happening. Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's stupid. I all of that crap. I hate when people talk bad about the Hulk thing.
Yeah.
And I hate when people talk bad about Thor. I hate when people talk bad about a lot of stuff for that movie. But
Yeah.
And like he's like, who wants to see all that again? I mean, it's made like what $2.7 billion.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been quite a bit of people who've seen it multiple times.
yeah, exactly.
Even though-
Especially since he, like, I would understand if he put, who wants to see the credit deleted scene and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
exactly.
But like putting in the Goofy Hulk,
Yeah.
Fat Thor, the Captain Marvel, the Girl Power scene,
Right.
all that was in the original cut.
Exactly.
And it got like what was it, like you said, like $2.7 billion.
And like the thing is that it's not in the number one spot because Avatar, but it beat Titanic.
Yeah.
Titanic has been in the it was in the number one position until Avatar,
Yeah.
and then it's been in the number two, and that movie came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
So it's held that top spot with all these big movies coming
Right.
out. So that's a big deal that it finally beat Titanic at least.
Yeah. Which I do give Titanic mad props because they're like in the third spot. And they're the only movie that hasn't been released in like the last 10 years that's in the top 10.
And I do want to bring out that prices have changed.
Yeah.
So, you know. But I do think that's going to be about it for us guys today. Thank you so much for checking us out. If you want to, you can go over to our channel, Two Awesome Men. We'll have reviews up hopefully tomorrow or something over Spider-Man and Midsummer. If you want to check those out on Two Awesome Men, we'll put a link in the description below. Check us out on Two Awesome Men. And I think that's gonna be it for us guys.
Also, we have social media for the podcast. It's the AP Pod.
Yeah.
So
For Twitter and Instagram, not
Yep.
Facebook. Yeah. I'll try to get on that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching us or listening to us, and you will see us or hear us next week.